Okay, well now I'm recording.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to say hi first?
Well, now we're at a what is it? Game chicken.
Yeah, now it's not organic anymore.
Hey, Elliott.
Hi, Anna.
Hi, Anna.
Hi, Danielle.
How's it going?
It's
Pretty
going
good.
Great.
Awesome. Glad to hear it.
Thanks for starting us off, Anna. You want to introduce yourself for our listeners?
Yes, I am Anna Johnson. I am the new chair of the Libertarian Party of Washington, and I'm sitting here with a member of my board, Danielle, who is an at-large rep on the LP Washington board, and Elliott, who is not actually a member of the board of Washington, but in fact the technology director, as well as King County Libertarian Party chair.
Mm-hmm.
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 Both of you have many
And I'm his
names.
vice chair. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
My Discord name is DV, a picture of a chair,
Mm-hmm.
at large.
First of your name.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I'm Anna's humble servant on the Washington board, and her, what is it? What is sort of the sword fealty, right? To not revolt and take King County with me in a feudal feud between chairs.
What would my sigil be?
Oh,
If I
I've
had
thought
one.
about this actually, right? And I never came up with a good thing, right? So we'll actually have to figure that out at some point.
Is this a religious thing?
Oh no! A
Sigil?
Well, what she's really talking about is her livery.
House of LPY.
Yes, exactly.
It is a porcupine.
There's a porcupine. Yeah. You could have those are I think they're called the supports. So you could have like a porcupine animal on one side, and then I don't know what's a Washington animal, right? I don't know.
I don't know, like an eagle,
I was going to say a beaver. A salmon.
a carry-on bird,
It's tough
a
because
salmon.
all of those same ones also work for Alaska. So.
You should have a salmon and a porcupine.
You know what? Let's do it. I love it. But
Or a
yeah.
kraken.
Oh yeah, to go with the
yeah.
hockey team. Yeah, there's a lot of excitement around the Kraken happening, right? So yeah. All right. So we have the introductions. Yay! Check box. Anna taking control, taking the lead as usual on the podcast, starting us off. So I love it. And obviously she's a great leader. My first question is, how long is it going to be until you're no longer the new chair, and just the chair? Because we're already a month or something in, right?
Elliott here with the hard-hitting questions.
I'm going to say after the convention next year.
So halfway through?
Halfway through. Well, it depends on, if there's drama.
Drama, okay.
Sometimes if it's like a new person comes in and they make you mad, and then it's like, well, I hate the new chair or something, or I hate the new president of this. But, if they're doing okay and you don't really notice what they're doing, then you might be like, oh yeah, that's just the chair. That's my goal.
Your goal is to sink into the background?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a good goal, actually.
Yeah.
I think that's a good goal for, any chair. Right? I feel like that the goal of any chair, since we're, explicitly taking a backseat role to stuff, right? Or a behind-the-scenes role, right? You're sort of the head of the behind-the-scenes game, but you're not, one of the main actors on stage. You're almost like the stage manager, right? And so, in theory, nobody kind of sees the stage manager, right? They're literally off the stage. And if they're doing the job correctly, day of, when the event is going on, when the play is going on, I mean, everything is just working and you're not really needed because everybody's job is humming along just fine, right? If you're needed, shit's going off the rails.
Yeah, it is kind of like that. I mean, your job is to make everything run, and you're usually, trying to figure out why the bathroom's locked and taking out the trash and doing all of those things. And you often, I've been an event director, you don't get to enjoy the party or whatever it is that you're throwing. You don't get to enjoy it as much because you're just making sure that all the little things in the background that nobody sees are happening. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, as chair, sometimes you have to obviously take a public stance. We've been doing some press releases. And one of the things I like to do is reach out to, for example, Chamber of Commerce or, Association of Washington Businesses, partner organizations that we might want to work with on, what's the thing we got coming up next month? Criminal justice reform, ranked
Juneteenth?
choice voting, Juneteenth, yeah, stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, the chair definitely has a public role, but for a lot of the inner workings of the party, it's like pretty invisible, as it should be, you know.
Yeah, so I mean, I totally agree with that. I mean, that's definitely been my attitude as like chair of King County. Is like, I feel like my job is to make sure the board is running in such a way that they can get the things done, right? Like it's not necessarily me doing the things per se. Certainly, I'll do stuff if there's nobody else type of thing. But you know, there you go. So. So what are, I guess, like, so you've got 2 years in theory, right, to get things done. What are like...
Wait. So am I stuck here for 2 years too?
You're stuck here forever, dude. As a director, you're permanent.
Well, shit.
At large for life.
Oh, wow. That's
yes.
fine.
You could be at
No,
large.
events director for life. Yeah, at large is 2 years.
Correct, right? Like,
Both of you are for life. I get to leave
Oh,
after 2 years.
Good.
Yes.
Directors have to stay
Directors are forever.
and give their labor for free to the party.
Okay.
Correct. So,
I'm gonna need a cooler vampire name then, I think. Like Lestat's already taken, right? And I don't want to be Edward. If I'm gonna be forever,
yes.
that's what
yes.
I'm thinking of.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny. Like people could ask me like, "Oh, Elliot, would you want to go from tech director to on the executive committee?" I'm like, "Why would I take a demotion?"
Exactly. No one can stop you.
Yeah,
You're not even elected.
It's ridiculous. I'm literally the deep state. Like, what do you want from me, right? So there you go. But yeah, so like Anna, what are the 2-3 things you want to do in the next 2 years to take Washington party to the next level or keep it on the rails? Like what are some of the big rocks that you want to get done?
Yeah, well, the first main thing is affiliate support. Right now we have, I believe, 2 county parties affiliated with the Libertarian Party of Washington. There are, I haven't looked this up, but I think there's over 20 counties in Washington, like maybe 29. There's not a super active Libertarian presence in every county, but there are a lot of Libertarians in a lot of different areas, including like northeastern Washington, southeastern Washington, southwestern Washington. So even in the rural areas, we're getting a lot of energy. And, you know, a lot of people don't know how to run parties, and they don't know how to, you know, like, how do you file with the state, and how do you make sure you have your bank accounts in the right order? And, you know, what should you get a website? And, you know, maybe, you know, for example, I have access to a lot of county party Facebook pages that are dead. You know, those are assets that kind of got defaulted to the state party. So all of those things, helping people organize events, helping people figure out what events people in their area like, or what appeals to them. And we have not had an affiliate support committee. The national party has one, and other states, you know, big states have them. So that's something that several people are really passionate about. And there's a group of people getting together across the state. So certain people in different areas, they're all working together to help counties in their area, across counties. So I just found out that the northeastern counties have met and would like to choose a name for themselves as a regional party. Mm-hmm. And so they're going to be asking for affiliation. And affiliation with the state basically means that we can support you with the state party's resources. So maybe we'll send you banners and literature for your events, you know, brochures and swag. One thing that we did with the King County Party a couple of years ago was the King County Party wanted to fund an event, but they didn't have the cash flow. So they asked the state essentially for a sponsorship. The state sponsored the cash flow for that event, and then the county party paid the state back for it. So, excuse me. So, you know, things like that. And in our bylaws, counties just have to have 5 people who sign the statement of principles and have their officers elected in their bylaws, and they can affiliate. And, you know, something else that we could offer is, you know, you and I have talked about this, Elliot, possibly just having a presence on our state website for county parties, because a website is an expense and the upkeep is an expense. And if we already have a website, you know, the counties can have a presence there without having to put in a lot of extra effort. So affiliate support, definitely. We want to get people energized in their own communities for things that they want to do there.
And brief point, you just made me realize that is why we have to have 5 people sign the statement of principles every convention. Because before that, it was like, why do we even do this? It's not in our bylaws. It's not a state requirement. Like, why the heck do I have to get this done? It's like, oh, because this, to be affiliated.
Yeah.
So there you go. The mystery solved, people.
Another thing I would love to do is we have a lot of changes on our website to do, and that's something that you are going to be an integral part of, Elliott. We have a lot of potential things to put on our website. For example, we have gotten media in the past year. The communications team has, put out press releases that have got some good media. I would love for that to be available. Danielle is working on an events calendar to be available on our website so people can come to the site and see what we're doing, because it's been pretty static for a while. You guys talked to Kobe last week, the legislative director. I'm really excited about that. And then, gosh, there's just so many things. There's so many things. We have so many people joining the party and joining the team that it's a little bit hard to rattle them all off. Mm-hmm. We have Whitney joining as political director, and she's going to be putting together a long-term plan for, helping candidates with campaigns and mentorship. So there's many more things. If anybody wants to volunteer, reach out to Danielle. I don't know. What do you guys want to see that we haven't talked about already?
Well, if I could just real quick, throw in a compliment that maybe could would easily get lost if you didn't understand what was going on. And I think what Anna's already done amazingly well on is appointing the right directors to the right positions, right? Because that sometimes isn't like a super big priority, especially if you're like sort of a doer of in and of yourself. But I feel like one of the most critical things that a chair can do is to build the team that will help bring you forward. And so far, every single director that's been appointed has just been an absolute joy to work with and is really passionate. And when we talked to Kobe, he is so on vision, it's not even funny. He was literally without any prompting from us, plugging the podcast on the podcast, which was great. And then and by the way, if you're interested in what I'm saying, join the party. It's not that expensive. It's $20. And I was like, holy crap, dude, I didn't even need to talk about you and you're already on it. Yes. And so that's what I love is that the directorship, and the directors that I've been dealing with so far, everybody is really high drive, very passionate about their particular thing, and just really a pleasure to work with. So that is something that Anna's already nailed, in my opinion. So.
Well, I'm just, embarrassed by riches here, surrounded by extremely talented and very energetic people who have not run out of energy yet.
Yeah, that's our superpower, I think. Elliott and I have infinite energy, and we also survive on very little sleep somehow. Well, you get more sleep than I do.
I get a lot more sleep, but
we both wake up too early.
We both wake up too early. I go to bed too early as well. But not every night, some nights depending. Well, but this is the thing. What is great is that I've been in lots and lots of freaking meetings so far, which I'm not stoked about, but it's been with such awesome people that the meetings leave me energized at the end of it. So it's not a big thing, right? And actually, not to do business in public, so to speak, but Lady and I were talking. the heir apparent of the comms directorship.
What is it?
She's the deputy communications director right now.
Correct. There we are. And so she and I were talking about budgeting.
Oh, that sounds fun.
I know.
Why didn't you guys call me? I didn't have enough meetings last week.
Yeah, I know. No, we talked literally yesterday about this. And so basically, I was telling her, I was like, dude, I don't know how to spend my money because nobody will tell me what they want. Right? And she's like, let me tell you what I want. I'm like, great. I will spend my money now.
Okay, perfect. Send that to me as soon as possible.
Yeah, we will.
The thing I wanted was too expensive. That's why he had to ask someone else.
Exactly.
What was it that you wanted?
Well, I forget now. It's probably a video camera.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's maybe a stretch goal.
Yeah.
But investing in some AV equipment, that would be good.
Oh, especially if speaker system, yeah.
Yeah, especially for conventions.
Yeah. Just at least the cords and stuff so we're not scrambling last minute. So that'd be nice. And that's easy. I'll do that at some point. But Anyway, Danielle, did you have a question or?
I forgot at this point. I
Sorry,
did have one.
Let's see here. So what has been like the hardest thing so far about being chair for a month? What's been the thing you've enjoyed the most so far?
Wow. Well, the hardest thing so far has been my favorite thing, which is I set up a meeting with every single board member and every single director. So I'm still missing a couple board members that I got to talk to this week. But that's like, I don't know, 16 people. And, you know, we're setting it up for half an hour, but usually it turns into an hour or more. And that has been crazy because I'm trying to think about how do I fit all of these pieces together and plan things for, you know, the next year. How does what each person is doing fit into the overall strategy? But every day I'm talking to a new person and that unveils something else, and it makes me think, oh, I got to talk to another person. Oh, I got to connect this over here. So I haven't quite been able to get back into like the overall stuff because I keep getting all of this new information. But at the same time, it's been so exciting to talk to each person and find out what they want to do. And there's all kinds of things that I had never thought of. You know, I can't think up all of this stuff by myself, all of these things that like good ideas that people want to do, or, you know, interests that I never knew about. So it's been really exciting, and not everybody, you know, I'm not going to be able to have, you know, hour-long conversations with everybody that I work with every week. So this is a really special time for me because it's the beginning, and I'm hearing about their passions, and everybody's just full of energy coming off the convention. So that's the hardest part. It's a lot of meetings. I was talking to another state chair who said, "Welcome to the LP. Your whole life is one big meeting."
Well, Elliott and I made them into working meetings, so they're way more productive.
Oh, I never work at any of my meetings. I have a strict policy.
What?
No, I don't work
Have you seen
during any of my
Have you
meetings.
seen her work at any of the meetings we've been to her with her? I mean, come on, man. You know, actually, though, seriously, I think Anna and I had a meeting, a very brief meeting at this Squatch Fest this last weekend about budgeting and stuff. But I think I was like slightly inebriated by then. But anyway.
Yeah, it was fine though. I mean, it was like we had a conversation about the conversation we needed to have.
Yes.
So that's what most corporate meetings are anyway.
Exactly.
And it's not like you were both checking your email all weekend. So.
No, yeah, we're
Really
off the
wasn't,
grid.
Actually, I'm so off the grid.
So we talked about affiliate support.
Yeah.
Do we have a person doing affiliate support?
We don't have a formal team yet.
Okay.
So the way that Layla, the vice chair, and I, who, by the way, if you don't know Layla, she's a magnificent human being.
Oh, they should, because they should have listened to Layla talk about skepticism and COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. She's so good at that stuff.
Every episode.
And the way that Layla and I kind of like to do things, you know, it's important not to go too hard too fast and try to point 9 people to things and then not have the structure to carry that on. So what we have been doing, you know, in the Discord and, you know, try to grab people from Facebook is encourage people to gather informally about whatever their interest is. You know, that's what we did with the legislative group, I think. And then after a few weeks, it became clear that like Kobe was really well poised to be the legislative director and he wanted that position. So, you know, I could see that there were already people in that channel that were talking and excited about it, and Kobe wanted to do it, so that was like an easy yes, you know. Nice. At that point, that was Randy was the chair then, so you know, Layla and I talked to Randy and he said great. So that's kind of how we like to do things. We like to let the ideas and the brainstorming kind of swell up, and then usually there's one person who's better poised to do the logistics of things, or you know, do the kind of directing of the team in that way, and so that's worked pretty well. I'm not super inclined to try to force people into positions where there's not really people there yet. You know, several people have told me, oh, we should have a college outreach team, and that would be awesome. I would love to get some conversations going about that. I'm not I don't know if I would appoint anybody to start that yet. And another thing that Ellie and I have talked about is like working groups instead of specific
I was just
official
about to bring
teams.
that up. Delaware does this where you form a group and it has a death date. Right.
Yeah, a standing committee, we might call it.
Yes, something like that, where it's like, it's not a permanent committee, and it's not even necessarily a committee with like a chair and like, blah, 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 no, it's like you're here together, you're going to get one thing done, and once that thing is done, you're dissolved as that little committee, and you're not going to hold on to power forever in this bizarre little interlocking committees on top of committees things that we see a lot of states and national get into.
Yeah, you can definitely get into a point where there's too many committees. I mean, I don't know if other states have subcommittees. I'm sure national has subcommittees of their committees. But, at a certain point, you reach the diminishing marginal returns where you spend too much time, trying to take minutes or whatever, and you're not actually doing the work. So I like how we're doing it now where it's very nimble. But if you try to...
Agile.
But the thing
and
is,
I missed the opportunity too. I was gonna say it earlier, and I just spaced.
As the resident tech bro, I have to say agile.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole agile thing can often turn into chaos because people want to be agile, and that means I didn't plan anything. We're just being agile. So we're trying to find a balance.
Yeah, that's probably good.
That's why you do working meetings, because
Yes.
if you're agile and doing it all while you're winging it, then at least you did something today.
Yeah.
Correct. So Anna, what's your preferred hand-to-hand combat weapon?
I would say the machete that I got from Squatch Fest.
Nice. That's a good one.
Specially etched with the Squatch Fest 2021 logo.
They really should have put bloodlines in those things now I think about it.
There's sawback though, and that's really nice in a machete.
Is that why you can get it on the swing back?
No, it's a saw, so you can saw things like
trees.
Like how a saw works, like how it cuts things in half.
So you can get
Saw
part of the
a
arm
log?
and then the rest of the way of the arm, or hey, it's a great field surgery tool. Dependent. That would suck so hard.
You probably wouldn't feel it.
Not after a while.
Yeah.
The saw is for your bone.
Yeah, I know exactly. So you'd anyway. I don't know. Apparently people didn't pass out. Let me see. What is your favorite color?
Oh, my brand color is blue.
Oh, your personal brand color.
Yeah, my a sapphire blue. I mean, I have two, but they're both shades of blue. Mm-hmm. One's like a sapphire blue, like in this hat that I'm wearing, and then the other one is like a really bright sort of electric blue.
Do you know the hex colors of those blues?
No, I'm afraid I don't know the Pantone colors, but you have challenged me, and the next time I see you, I will tell you.
Perfect. And then when I know, I'll tell all y'all so you guys know.
Do you have a theme song?
Oh, man. There's just too many. I really love singing. I love Broadway. I love really cheesy, exciting songs that get me pumped. I don't know what my personal theme song would be. I can't believe I don't have one.
There's some homework for you.
Yeah. Probably something sung by Kristen Chenoweth, who is a tiny, blonde Broadway star with a voice about 100 times bigger than she is. I like to say Kristen Chenoweth is my spirit animal.
You do have a personality about 100 times bigger than you are.
So do you, Danielle.
I know.
Actually, everybody, we have a lot of personality in this room.
We do, yeah.
Including this dog who is making himself heard on this podcast.
Yeah, he likes to be seen.
Yeah,
Seen and heard.
Mm-hmm. He has to be the center of attention. That's why he's in the middle of the room.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. He'll be under the middle of your feet, and then you stand up, and he's like, oh, I've been hurt. I'm like, well, you're an idiot.
I was smart, and I took his collar off this time, and that rarely happens.
Thank God.
Before we hear it, and then I take it off mid-podcast.
It's a fun Easter egg for our 3 subscribers.
Yeah.
So you do a lot of gardening.
Yes.
And so I assume that this is going to be an easier question for you, which is, what's your favorite plant?
Indoor or outdoor?
We'll go with...
I want to hear indoor.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to cheat because my favorite one is both indoor and outdoor.
Nice.
It is called Angel's Trumpet, and it's native, well, I think it's native to South America, but they have it a lot in the American South. And it is very fast growing, and it grows these huge leaves, like the size of dinner plates or bigger. And it grows these beautiful flowers that drape down. They're like bells, and they hang down, and they smell amazing. It's very toxic to, kids and pets, of which I have none, so it's fine. But I keep it in the house during the winter, and then I put it outside in the summer, and it grows really big outside. Although it's very windy where I live, and it doesn't hold up to the wind very well. So I'm trying
That's
to
what
train
they blow, like air. They use fans when you're growing pot to like strengthen the stems.
Oh, yeah.
So like you might just end up with stronger and shorter stems.
So I brought it out earlier this year. Last year I brought it out halfway through, and all the big leaves had already grown, and they were too weak.
Oh,
so
and they were just sails.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, they just got shredded. Like one rainstar, they were totally shredded. So this year I brought it out earlier.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it when we go
Yeah, it's cute.
down to your place.
You
again.
should smell them too.
Of course.
If Alexander the Great and Genghis Khan boxed, who would win?
Genghis Khan, man. He's fierce.
I also don't think he'd not cheat. He'd pull all the punches.
No. He would not pull any of the punches.
Yeah.
Genghis Khan.
Yeah, he would absolutely cheat. I mean, did Alexander the Great do a lot of
yeah.
hand-to-hand combat?
He was kind of a sissy boy.
Yeah, I
too.
don't
Yeah, I mean, he was just kind of like a general guy. He did a lot of I mean, like today's, Congress sending the young men to war and directing all of that stuff. But could they actually?
He was kind of young himself, though.
Yeah, that's true.
And he did send himself to war.
All right.
I guess it doesn't change because he was young himself. He sent himself to war, right? So there you go, ruling class.
Yeah, but Genghis Khan, didn't he have to deal with crazy weather?
Well, I mean, the steppes of Russia, basically.
Yeah.
Eating grass and the blood of horses and stuff. Yeah. Well, thank you, Lloyd, for that series of questions.
I was trying to figure out where the questions were, too. I'm so glad you found them.
Podcast. No, I was like,
Yes.
these questions are definitely getting asked.
See, I prepare on the weeks Elliott doesn't prepare, and he prepares on the weeks I don't prepare.
Oh, dude,
That's
you have no idea. I was like, oh my god. I looked at these questions from Lloyd Morris, who we want to actually have on the podcast.
Yeah, Lloyd, get on our show.
Yeah, get good, scrub. And so he gave us we were asking oh, what are some questions for Anna? And thank God they put to Danielle private message so that Anna couldn't see them. And it was like, yes, these are great questions.
I might not have seen them anyway. I can't keep up.
Yeah, no, it's true, but
I want to say it wasn't private and it was public, and I just forwarded you the text in a message.
oh, that's so funny. Maybe that's the case. Yeah, I might not. Oh, yeah, because there is a little Liberty swoop on one of those. So yeah, and you don't have Nitro, so yeah, that makes sense. Or no, that's my Liberty swoop. Of your message. Just kidding. All right, I'm out of here. So the point being is, I have this other excellent question, which is, how cool is that vice chair of yours? Exclamation point.
Oh, Layla Bush?
Yes.
Man, she's so great. Layla and I are like the yin and yang. We agree on so many things, and then we disagree on a few things, but we even just agree on how to disagree about them. When I first came into the party, it was 3 years ago, and I met her at the convention. And Layla, if you don't know, is a survivor of a mass shooting, and she, has some issues with her leg and some chronic pain, and she gets tired sometimes. And I remember meeting her at the convention and thinking, this woman is amazing. She is being a teller. She's counting votes all day. She's on her feet all day. I got to meet this person. And we started meeting for beers at Chuck's, and I didn't know very much about the party. And I was like, well, I've volunteered at nonprofits before, and sometimes they turn out really bad. So I really don't want to volunteer for anything until I know more about these people and what they're doing. And I thought, I got to hear from Layla. She knows what's up. And we just kept meeting, and she was someone that I just immediately trusted. And she has such a big heart and so much compassion, but she knows when to say no. So, fast forward a few months later, somebody voluntold me to run for the board of King County. And I started helping Layla with stuff for the state party because there weren't as many people on the board then. And a few months later after that, we were telling each other, I guess almost a year after that, we were telling each other, well, I think you should run as chair. And I'll be vice chair. Well, no, I think you should run as chair, and I'll be vice chair. Layla called me one time and said, listen, I just want you to know, if you don't want to run as chair, I'll do it. And that was basically how it was for several months. And so we finally decided on this. But, we are really just two peas in a pod. We make every big decision together. And I know that I can count on her to tell me, here's the things that I need. And I know that I can count on her to tell me, hey, I need a break here. And she asks me, when I need those things. She makes sure that I tell her when I need a break. So, gosh, she's really just tip top, man. She's the bee's knees.
I hate to make everything about me, but it's hilarious because this story is shockingly similar to another vice chair story I know about. Although it didn't go quite that way. Yeah, somebody walked up to me, Danielle, and was like, I was about ready to retire from the board. I was like, I did my service, tour of duty, right? It was secretary, and I'm like, I'm done. There's other good people that could take this up. And Danielle's like, you should be chair, Elliott. I'm like, I don't want to be chair. That's like work. And she's like, don't worry, I'll do all the work. Which is the biggest lie in ALL history. She is doing a lot of the work, but it turns out the chair has to do work, which is obnoxious. But whatever, man. So this is how chairs and vice chairs con each other into doing things.
Well, this is good, right? I mean, it's good that nobody really wants to be chair.
It's very healthy.
I agree. The only politicians I want in office are the ones who have to be drugged, kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I'm not a politician.
Yeah, I'm not counting as a politician. That's why I think about it as like support, right? So let's see here. So I kind of already asked you this, but this person wanted to see it anyway, and it's like a slightly different version of the question, so I'll ask it anyway, which is, where do you hope to see the party in a year?
In a year.
National or state?
I think our party, since she's
state?
The chair. Yeah. Okay.
I want to see the party growing. We've grown a huge amount. 2 years ago, we had like 100 members, and now we have 350 members. I want to see the party growing. I want to see county parties started, or at the very least, several counties regularly meeting, doing activities, doing activism, protesting, all of that stuff. I want to see multiple media appearances, whether that is, somebody prints our press release or somebody quotes us, or potentially op-eds. I want to see us raising more money. This year with our convention, we raised more money than we have in many years. I don't know how far back. And that was incredible because we are going to be able to use some of that to support all of the events that we have coming up, to support county parties, to support things like
candidates too, right?
And candidates. I would love to see at least 24 candidates next year running in the 2022 elections. We're still figuring out who's filing right now, so I don't know how many candidates we're going to be helping right now. But I want to see us like up and down the ballot. Even if it's just, some people don't like paper candidates because it's like, maybe you shouldn't have spent that money, or maybe, but it can help people get their feet wet. If you just want to write a statement, one of our candidates last year just wrote a statement that was like super economic, and it was like quoting Rothbard or quoting Hayek or Hazlitt. And he didn't have a website, he didn't do anything, but he got like 6 or 7% of the vote. Yeah,
was that Jorge?
I think that was Jorge. Yeah,
he was great.
So even if you just use your candidate statement for education, there's a potential for that.
And we need to get him on this show
now.
Yes,
that would be awesome. Oh my God, I love it.
I don't think he's on the Discord.
Well, we'll get him on. Well, I think he's on the Discord, but even if he's not, we'll get him. We'll snag him off of wherever he is nowadays. But point being is that It is important. Like, I can understand if people think that paper candidates are a waste of money, but honestly, like, I think it is critical to have the L's on the ballot, right? And I'd almost prefer them to be paper candidate and on the ballot, and not necessarily trying to run, because that takes a lot of energy and a lot more money than just the filing fee, and it gives people the opportunity to, at the very least, use the L as the protest vote. I know of people personally in my life that I haven't convinced to be libertarian, but I have at least convinced that the major parties are sufficiently toxic that after they voted the D's on all of the elections that they cared about, all the elections they knew nothing about and cared nothing about, they voted L on everything else. And I think that is a marginal win, right? If we continue to get people to vote L's, even as a protest vote, that's advertising, and insofar as far as voting actually matters, which in some ways it doesn't, and in some ways it does more on the local level, but at the very least having it be a ritual that people find meaningful, I'd rather them spend that meaningful time on protesting with us rather than protesting with the R's and the D's.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, if there's some people that aren't putting a ton of work into their candidates race, you know, we can identify beforehand who really has a chance of winning. You know, like Dan Driscoll last year got like 49.5% or something in Pacific County. Like, he was so close. But our political director beforehand identified that he really had a chance of winning. And, you know, we can focus our efforts. The SEC votes on endorsements, and we have a process so we can make sure, like, you know, the people that get the highest amount of support, if they get donations from the party, if they get, you know, volunteers directed to them and you know, in-kind donations and things, you know, we have a process to identify the best candidates for that. And other people can get, you know, recommended by the party too. But even if you're not getting that support from the party, just having air support all the way down the ballot, like Elliott was saying, I'm really excited. We've had multiple people reaching out to us. We've had people reaching out for future races in 22 and 24. So, you know, it's a long road, and there's definitely some things we need to put in place before then. But I think how I really see what I can do over the next 2 years is put a lot of things in place and people in place to have long-term growth. So, you know, Randy and Tiffany, the chair and vice chair for the past 4 years, they really kind of brought the party up from a difficult place. There was low membership and there was no money in the bank account, and they brought it to strength and stability. And now we're in a position where we're stable, we're on solid ground, and we can start putting the chess pieces in the right place. So filling out teams that are long-term and that people don't burn out of is really important to me. Mm-hmm. Even if it means baby steps. That's what Layla tells me all the time. Baby steps. Because I'm like, well, I got to do this and I got to do that. And someone else wants to do this. She says, baby steps.
I'm just looking forward to telling people that we are running races, because that's like a big criticism. You know, I've spent a lot of time on Reddit. And everyone's like, why don't you run for office? So, like, being able to show that we have L's on the ballot, even if they're just paper candidates that don't have a chance, it's still something. So,
and something that our viewers will know, but Anna doesn't because of how time works in podcast land, is that Kobe, one of his cool strategies I just learned about today in talking with him, is to sort of be able to produce some ammo for our candidates through specific, targeted, solid libertarian legislation that they can leverage during their campaigns of saying, hey, by the way, you know, here, you asked me how would I apply my philosophy? This is exactly how I'd apply my philosophy. I would pass this bill, and this bill to solve these specific problems in this specific way. It's completely philosophically based if you're a nerd and want to dig into it, and it's also going to actually help your fellow citizens. Put me in office and I'll make it happen, right? And so I'm like, oh, I love that attitude. It's exactly my attitude with respect to tech. That's exactly everybody else's attitude that as directors I've talked to is like, our job is to arm our people up in our general vertical, right, our area of interest to help them grow and be better and more effective at like the 4 things we can do as a party, right? And so it's just so cool, and it wouldn't have occurred to me that legislative can help candidates, right? So it's actually important to have both so that you can that you can advertise that legislation through the candidate, and you can help the candidate have some cool things to say through the legislation that you're building for them, right? So.
Oh yeah, Kobe and I talked about this months ago when he first started as legislative director, and that was something that I didn't think was possible before a potential legislative director popped up. I'm sure it would have been great for any of our candidates last year to have some legislation to run on, but nobody was there to support them with it, and that is the magic of having people in the right positions. Okay, you're going to have to cut this out because I lost my train of thought, but I'm going to remember it.
You say that now.
Well, and so to also touch back on our other legislative committee members, David Wiley,
yes,
he had to develop all of his own legislative viewpoints, and that's actually why he's on the legislative committee, because he's like, well, I did it for my race last year, might as well. And so we're very lucky to have him, someone who actually put all that into it. Because not every candidate can.
And he has a connection that can help us review legislation. That's something that costs money. If you need an attorney, well, you do need an attorney to review your bills. So David got on the team, and, that's something that he brought that I had no idea. There are so many local and municipal positions that go unchallenged, There are people on, like conservation districts. There are people on, obviously, like school board and city councils. Layla, for example, got on the Linwood City Planning Commission. There's some of them that, there's some of them that, like, they have vacant positions. And I think some of them are appointed, but a lot of them are elected. I saw someone posting, I think on Facebook when we were talking about this the other day, say, hey, if you really want to make your life awesome, you will go down on the last day of filing day and find out what positions have not been filed yet, file for it, and then you're the only person running for that position. Libertarians can make changes at the local level in any of these small positions. And from there, we get the experience of running a campaign, of learning what it's like to be on city planning. I mean, they give you like huge notebooks of all of these codes and all of these things that you have to know. And if we want to change government through elections, we have to know all of these codes. If we want to eliminate them, we have to know what the ones are that are ripe for elimination.
And it kind of ties in that thought of one of the ways in which we can really leverage the party is through, and this is why it's kind of critical, not for us to completely cut out all the bureaucracy of the party. Like, of course, none of us want red tape by any means, but going through and sitting on a board and learning like how to do that vibe in a friendly environment, right? With sort of easier things to do, with lower stakes things to do, allows you that if you want to be a candidate, now you're actually prepared to go into a city council because you understand, say, Robert's rules, or how like committees and subcommittees work, and how to, work with board members and junk like that, right? So like actually being active and involved in the party in some of the support roles that we're in right now actually directly translate into potentially knowing what the heck you're doing on some of these positions, right? So even if you think you might want to run or you don't want to run right now, hey, it's a lot less scary to show up to a city race in my position where I am right now, where I'm like, oh, I actually kind of understand how to do this job, you know? So fair enough, right? It won't kill me.
And you'll get at least 5 votes.
At least 5, probably more.
At least 5.
I bet you there's a few more, I think, for me.
For you, yeah, but
yes.
I'll only count on
maybe
5.
6 max.
Maybe 6. So kind of get 5 for the board, and then like 2 other people that
that can bus in from out of state and forced to register.
Oh, goodness gracious.
No, Rambo can't vote.
So last question from Layla Bush, of which our second line.
He wouldn't vote for Elliott anyways, though.
He wouldn't. but he's a Liberty dog, so there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Layla, for those last 3-4 great questions. That wasn't Danielle's. She asked, how cool is your vice chair of yours? Definitely not biased here.
Yeah, that wasn't a Layla question.
Okay, I do remember seeing that. I must have missed all the other ones, though.
Yeah, that was good. But it is good. Layla's awesome. She definitely needs more press, for sure. Love her to death. And she's been on our podcast before. Go listen to that episode. Fantastic episode.
She was quoted in our press release from last week.
Oh my God,
Wasn't
that
she?
was such a fire press release. And I read every single Reddit comment, and it was so amazing. Like, so much salt. Like, it was a complete salt mine. I loved it. Like, and I loved what was it, the thing that was said? Like, didn't you notice how, like, every single quote...
Yeah, someone called us incel neckbeards, getting all mad about our weapons, and then, like, 3 of the 4 quotes were women. Like...
Yeah.
We're definitely not incels.
Yeah.
Or neckbeards. Some of them are rednecks, though.
Yeah, I don't think they read.
Yeah, I mean, if this person only showed up to a libertarian event, he would see how many women are in our party, and including some of them who, are carrying. Yeah, that was amazing. We had a press release last week condemning Inslee's open carry ban at protest, which is a completely garbage. Well, it wasn't Inslee. I mean, he signed it, but it was Congress.
He failed to veto.
Yeah, he failed to, which of course he did, which is just completely unconstitutional. We quoted Layla as a survivor and an avid gun rights supporter. And we quoted Danielle, and then I think someone else quoted Dave. Yeah. And it was awesome. We brought up that, the roots of gun control are in, the 60s when the Black Panthers open carried at the California State Capitol. They had also been conducting lawful neighborhood patrols, trying to keep track of what the police were doing in their community. And that's when the Republicans and the NRA and Ronald Reagan and a bunch of Democrats also got together and were like, oh, no, we can't have this. We have to ban guns. We have to ban open carry.
And by the way, if you're looking for an alternative to the NRA, you want to look up the FPC, the Firearms Policy Commission, which I recently... So Firearms Policy Coalition, one of our members got a heck ton of swag from them and has been letting us all know that they are a much better alternative to the NRA. So. Oh yeah, I mean the NRA at this point is I mean it really has always been, but it is nothing that any libertarian should support. The Firearms Policy Coalition is awesome though. The NRA is you don't get it twisted. They are the National Rifle Association and they represent gun makers, not gun owners, right? So they are an industrial lobby, so they don't care about your rights as long as there is enough guns to go around for gun manufacturers. And to be frank, the military is always there, so I don't know, you know what I mean?
Well, the more they ban, the more manufacturers are going to be able to, like, make a new thing that they now sell.
Of course.
Yeah.
As the market always does.
Yeah. As long as they just ban exactly the right amount every time type of thing, right? Yeah.
They'll get there.
So Layla's last question is a great question, is how can people support LPWA?
What a great question, Layla Bush, Vice Chair of LPWA. If you want to support the party, go to lpwa.org. You can find out about the party there. If you want to donate, it is lpwa.org/donate. You can follow us on Facebook. We are on Twitter and Instagram also. And pay attention to our events, which we will post on Facebook. And I believe pretty soon we're going to have those posted up on the website. But show up to our events. You can subscribe to our emails also on our website, and we'll always let you know about events there. But we really would love to see you. We're planning in the early stages of a Juneteenth event, fighting for people who are in prison for victimless crimes.
Yeah, convicted of victimless crimes.
Yeah. We have lots more stuff happening around the state. Come out and see us. Come hear, our speakers and sign wave with us. We need you.
Mm-hmm. And we have I'm not going to talk about the camping trip because this won't come up before that.
What's our next thing? Juneteenth and all those fun things?
Yeah, and just for clarification, Juneteenth is June 19th.
Yes, correct. So Juneteenth is kind of the colloquial name for the day that all of the last slaves were emancipated in the state of Texas. It was a few weeks after the end of the Civil War, so that kind of became a yearly celebration among formerly enslaved people. And it still is today in the Black community in America. But, there are so many people today who are still behind bars, in cages, enslaved for victimless crimes for no good reason. The documentary that I think you could still see on Netflix, 13th, talks about how the 13th Amendment it outlawed slavery in the U.S. except as punishment for a crime. So there are tons of people who are still locked up today, and Juneteenth is the perfect opportunity to highlight that.
So Juneteenth is an official holiday in Washington State, but I think it starts next year.
It starts next year, yeah. So, this is a great opportunity, too, to skewer the Democrats because they, made a big deal out of themselves for making Juneteenth a holiday because that's, really special, and a good job them. But they're not doing anything about the drug war. They're not vacating sentences. It's all virtue signaling. So, we're still planning our event. We will be doing something probably in King County or, somewhere on the Puget Sound for Juneteenth. We've talked about, maybe protesting outside a prison or something like that. So, the drug war is one of the worst crimes that the government commits on its citizens. War, foreign war is one, and the drug war, I would say, is second. So, yeah, come out on June 19th. We will be posting details about that soon.
Mm-hmm.
And to be clear, the drug war, it doesn't just have national effects, it has international effects,
yes.
Right? You want to know why we're having an immigration crisis, not just in America, but on the borders of Mexico and many other South American countries, is because the drug war has crushed many countries, right? So it's really one of the most evil policies that we have, and it cuts across so many different areas of life. It really is kind of difficult to understate how bad the drug war is, and unfortunately it's business as usual. And this year I think it's become more clear how quickly government programs can become business as usual, right?
Yes.
Even if people initially fight and kick and scream at the beginning, if the state wants to go that direction, they're kind of a heavy train. It's going to be very difficult to get in the way. So looking forward to at least making our voices heard. And starting to get more active again. I definitely have also been landing great criticism, which is somewhat fair, right? And somewhat unfair sometimes because we're sometimes new. But hey, you gotta light that fire in your ass anyway, right? Which is to say, where's the Libertarian Party?
Yeah.
Where are you guys, and what are you doing? And the answer has been, for Washington, not much. And there's been a bunch of factors, but I think with our new fearless leader Anna at the helm, we're gonna get a lot of great shit done at the statewide level, and I'm very excited to continue to support her in my roles in the party. It's kind of cool. We in Washington have a lot of awesome privileges relative to other states, and one of the coolest things about our state is that our biggest county chair is fully aligned with our state chair, which doesn't always happen in every state, so
Yeah.
It's a very exciting thing.
Yeah.
So let's wrap it up with kind of what we want from folks. So like and subscribe, obviously. Become a member, obviously. We're looking for folks in our candidate support committee. Folks interested in candidate support, if they want to fill that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Candidate support, county party support, communications. We're looking for some more people for social media or press releases. Those are the big ones, I think.
And event planning, obviously.
Yeah.
I'll take anyone that wants to help and wants to learn how to do it. And I have this spreadsheet that basically has everything already on it for you. So
yeah, and if you don't know what team you want to join, you can just contact Danielle, and you could just tell her what you like to do and what your skills are, and she will find a place for you.
It's true. And I'll put all my contact info in the bio, but it's danielle.s@lpwa.org. And how can we reach you, Elliott?
You can't. No, just kidding. You can reach me through the Discord. So
Yeah, get on the Discord. I mean, that really
Discord.
is the best for all of us.
Yeah, that is literally the best way to get a hold of me is join the Discord and then at me, and I will respond. Like, apparently there's a running joke that I recently became aware of, which is that it doesn't matter what hour, day or night, you message something, it'll be 5 minutes, and then Elliot responds with a react emoji. I think that legend got started a few weeks where I had some spotty sleep, and then I was like, well, I'm awake, so what's going on in the Discord? And I was like, boop, 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 and then go back to sleep, but still. So there you go. So I'm on there. If you want to reach me, literally go to the Discord. That's the best way.
And Anna?
Oh, how do you reach me? You can reach me at chair@lpwa.org. And, you know, Danielle brought it up. I mentioned our website earlier. Join the party. Read our statement of principles on the website. I think that is lpwa.org/join-lpwa.
Oh, goodness. Now I got to keep it that way.
We can do a vanity URL. lpwa.org/join.
/join. Yeah, I'll have to.
/ link, it will be in the bio.
So
don't stress.
I'll have to make that true now. All right.
I always say bio, but it's in the whatever that's called, the description.
Oh, yeah, link in description.
Yeah, I'm not good at social media. Yeah.
Look at the description below. Comment. Random stupid vapid questions. Respond to it in the comments.
Oh yeah, if there is, I don't.
If
I was
you
gonna
wear
ask.
socks, what do you think about?
Comment below what color gold socks you're wearing.
Oh,
'cause
what do
we're all
you?
Libertarian.
Comment below with what you think Anna's favorite color is.
What? She already answered.
Yeah, but what are the hex?
Oh, the hex code.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
comment
there you go.
below with the
With the hex
Pantone.
code that you think. is.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, we did it. We did the YouTube things, guys. Good job.
Yeah. So I think we're good.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And join us at lby.org. Join the party. $25 a year. It's good stuff.
Guys, I forgot what I was going to say.
That's okay.
Continue.
No worries. So let's see here.
I'm really good at editing out all the like bullshit because this podcast is really just me being like, Rambo, be quiet. Oh my god. Hang on, that's my alarm.
Or like
This
the.
article isn't loading. Hang on.
Or like, wait, Danielle, what the fuck was that again? Like, do you have the link? Okay, boop, boop,
Yeah.
boop,
Oh,
boop.
I remembered.